are you, sir? And you had some great events, right? For the
Yeah,
kickoff of book two.
excited about it. The last 2 weekends, I've been in Johnson City, Tennessee, and then in Franklin, Tennessee, which is just south of where I live. And I've had great feedback. I'm liking this one-on-one instead of having a microphone and people supposed to sit at an event. I'm talking with them as they come in the store, asking any questions they have, connecting with them. And the fact, the one at the last bookstore, the manager said, I'm a rock star. So with engaging with people.
Well, I think you're definitely a rock star, and that's what you do is you're engaging with your fans, and you're learning every time, right?
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
the
that's the
best
fun
way to
part.
do it? Yeah.
And what people are wanting to know and what engages them, what brings them over to the table. A lot of times it's the kids that come over. I've given away free water bottles. And so get the kids over there, you get the parents over there, and there we go.
All right, so we are going to have to talk about merch, t-shirts, for the books or for the brand, Mitchell. And No Sleeve Nation wants to jump in on this, so we're going to have to introduce you to No Sleeve Nation,
All right.
so you can start getting the merch out because of these events. And so after you see the success of these events, let's talk about the planning. We talked about this before, Mitchell, but what makes a successful event? And the last two you've had very successful, and how you are able to set them up and the entire team to make it happen.
Yeah, and I've got right now is my family involved in it. And so, like my wife was there, she brought snacks for the bookstore, people coming in and could have, a small water bottle and a couple cookies or things like that, while my kids were taking pictures and mingling with people. And then I was engaging them as they came in the front door, and just a lot of my pastor skills as far as talking with people, meeting with them. I even sat down and prayed with one woman who read, she wasn't planning on buying a book, but she read the author bio, which has my cancer story on there, and she's going through the same cancer. So we
Oh,
pulled aside, and I got her story and asked if I could pray for her, and she said yes. And so uh, her friend ended up buying three.
see, that's where you never know what an event will do
And for
to.
me, the time with prayer was worth more than selling the books, because that's what I'm wanting to do is reach to these people that are hurting, that have been left out by the church.
Totally, because and that's where you're here, and that's why your next the book that's out now is so relevant with the homeless and to really address the
Right.
homeless situation.
Yeah, and then um, what's the section called when I want to honor somebody? They the three or four major ones here in Nashville, like Room in the Inn, the Union Mission, where they house them, but not only just to house them, but to teach them skills and to help them with their life from that point forward.
All right, so let's dive deeper into this, Mitchell.
Okay.
Let's look at specifically the success event. How did you book these events for helping authors out there that want to get things going? Because I've always said, if you aren't going to sell books unless you go on the road and you do this and you actively sell them out of your trunk and you hustle. But how did you
Yeah.
get some of these events, especially
Well,
because you're going to different places and different venues all the time?
and that's the hard part for me, but I thank God that I have friends back in Illinois who remember me, that have read my book, that are pushing it for me. So I went to the Illinois and a library, stocking them there, and so they had me there free of charge to talk to people and to sell books. The one in Johnson City, that's where two of my children and their families live, and my father and my sister live, and so they helped me get into the Barnes and Noble bookstore. And then Barnes and Noble asked me back for the second event. Somehow I got on the panel. I'm on three panels speaking at this Killer Nashville conference, which is all murder mystery
Wow.
genre. And so when I applied for one, they ended up getting me on three. So a story arc, the red art of the red herring, and developing series characters. And that's kind of where I feel like my wheelhouse is.
Oh, I love it. And so kind of that's exciting, Mitchell, because now, going to these events, and when did this event come when you're going to be on these panels?
That's the end of August. So it's the 23rd through the 25th. And I'm on one panel on that, the 24th, and then two on the 25th. And so what they have is a bookstore, and they're they're going to stock my books in their bookstore for at this hotel. And after the panel members go straight to the bookstore and sign books and sell books.
See,
And
that's
I also
huge.
have
Yeah.
rented a table for 4 hours on a Saturday to sell more. So it gives me the exposure as well as, kind of rubbing elbows with people who I have a bestseller on one of these panels. And so I'm going to be kind of working them for how do you get here? How does it develop, and learning every single thing I can, like a sponge.
It's interesting when you talk about bestsellers versus bestsellers. I'll give you that in
Yeah.
quotation marks. Okay.
Well, this person is New York Times, so
okay, then that's different. And you're going to be a New York Times bestselling author.
Well, I hope so one day. I'm shooting for
You're going to be.
Okay.
I already am saying it. You're going.
That's why you're involved, right?
I'm going to be a New York Times bestselling author someday too. So we'll both, be in that club someday.
Yeah.
Me write my first, but I'm waiting on my memoir, and we'll see when that happens. Now, looking at this in so many ways, Mitchell, I think that you're showing that it's a community that helps you get all these different opportunities.
Absolutely.
And then it's going to lead to another opportunity and lead another opportunity. But this is what authors do that are successful. They stay the course. We talked about never giving up. I guess you're showing that even further. You're not an overnight success happened 15 years later, right? Almost same like me, right?
Yeah.
Overnight
I remember my brother saying, it's not only what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
He says, you can know everything in the world, but if you can't connect that with anybody, it doesn't really matter. And he is a top level salesman. He's just retired, but international and vice president of that level. And so he knows that working and getting out and connecting and the networking that he's trying to teach me.
Well, you're figuring it out, Mitchell. But again, the pastor skills help too. So everything happens for a reason. You're coming back in the way and the audience. And when you get your series, then they're going to be like, oh, excuse me. And then the books are going to sell like hotcakes. And you're going to be like, excuse me, what just happened? Can I pitch myself? Because I talked to New York Times bestselling authors. They said they were sitting here and then they found out and they're like, holy cow, what just happened? I went viral.
Yeah.
And people started buying and everything. So you got to be ready.
Yeah. That overnight success doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It happens as a result of all the work you've done before.
And the mistakes you make too.
Learn from
how people have to make mistakes in this process as well.
Right. And people can either use them to be defeated or they can use them to learn and be better.
Because if you don't, it's not a good thing. It becomes a process that you're like, are you freaking kidding me? What just happened here? So let's so the events, your recommendation, if somebody wanted to go to events, what do they do? Contact them, pick up the phone and call people then, right?
Yeah. And start where you know and where people know you. Because then you can say, I was at this event, I was at that event, and then the larger ones start to take interest.
Are you looking at potentially now that you're going to probably start hitting other areas of the country?
Oh, yeah. I've lived in, I think, 5 different states that I can count. And so trying to branch out from the Nashville area to those states like Kentucky, to Missouri, to Kansas, where, I was born, and just keep going. And we got land in Alabama, so starting to work Alabama. And it's strange to see that I sold a book in Japan. It's just like, how in the world did it get there? I don't know.
And the feedback's still very good, right? For people reading the books.
4.8 stars.
Okay. And then the new book, are you starting to see stars for that one now?
I've gotten 2 reviews, 1 of 4 without any comments, and 1 of 5 with praising all the way through. So I need more. I need more of those.
Yep, that might be another contest, Mitchell, to kind of get involved in that for sure. Okay. So the best place people can go is mitchellskarnesauthor.com. Appreciate it, Mitchell. Thanks again, and we'll talk soon, sir.
All right. Thank you.